Hey guys, today what we're going to do is we're going to do some basic factorative quadratics. I know we've done this before, but I figured it'd be good to start with a little bit of review. I hope everybody's doing well. So the green ones are ones I'm going to do, and the red ones are one where at that time you should pause the video and do them yourself, and then we'll go over them. So the first ones, okay, remember factoring. Okay, when we factor these, we're unfoiling. We're saying what do we multiply by to get to this final thing. So when we get our final answers, we should have some sort of x times an x. Do you remember that? Okay, and when we look at these, we have to look at this last number, okay, and these signs. All right, so what we're looking for, if you remember, we're saying what multiplies to give me a 5 that can add to give me a 6 in the middle. All right, so my factors of 5 are 1 and 5, okay, and 1 plus 5 will give me 6. So when I do this, I end up with x plus 1 and x plus 5. Okay, so hopefully you remember that. All right, so now it's time for you to try this one here. The red ones are yours, so I'll give you a second and pause the video. Okay, and when you do this, you should make sure that your answers are in this form. So it should have x and then something here, something here. Okay, so then when you look at this one, okay, you should be looking at what multiplies to give me 10. That can add to give me 7. Two things that multiply to give me 10 are 2 and 5. Okay, and those add to give me 7, so I should get x plus 2, x plus 5, or x plus 5, x plus 2. You can switch the order. It doesn't matter. Okay, next one, a little different. So we're saying what multiplies to give me 4 that can add to give me a negative 4 here. Okay, so if this is a positive at the end and negative in the middle, we can multiply. Now 2 times 2 give me 4, but also negative 2 times negative 2, two negatives make a positive, will give me 4. So when we're looking at this one, we should have x minus 2 and x minus 2. Does that make sense? So if we have a positive at the end and a negative in the middle, we're going to end up with two negative signs. Okay? So now you do the next one. Okay, when you do this, you're looking at what multiplies to give me 12 that can add to give me negative 7, and that would be, you should get, to multiply to give me 12 to give me 7 is 3 and 4, and since this is a negative in the middle, they're both negative here, so we should get x minus 3 and x minus 4. Okay. All right, next page. Okay, these are a little different. Now we're solving them. Okay, so to solve them, right, we have to make sure we have our 3 steps. We have our first step, if you remember, is set equal to 0. Our second step is factor. And our third step is solve, and it's solve each one of them for 0. Okay, so on this one, okay, it's already set equal to 0. Okay, so now what we have to do is factor. We're saying what multiplies to give me negative 18 that can add to give me 3. Now, the only thing that can multiply to give a negative is a positive and a negative. Okay, so we're looking for essentially for two numbers that are 3 apart from each other. Okay, and those numbers we're looking for are 6 and 3, because 6 times 3 gives me 18, and 6 minus 3 gives me 3. Okay, and then this sign here will go with the bigger number. Okay, so the 6 will be positive and the 3 will be negative. So we should get x plus 6 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0, because those are our 2 factors, and we have to make sure we solve them both for equal to 0. Okay, so when I solve this, I would subtract 6. I would get x is 6. Solve this one, I would get x is 3, and this one should be negative 6 because we subtracted 6 from 0. Okay, so give this one a try. All right, so you should have got that your factors for negative 32 that give me 8, two numbers that are 4 apart that multiply to give me 32, are 8 and 4, and this is a positive, so I should have x plus 8 and x minus 4 equals 0. Okay, split those up and set them both equal. So x plus 8 equals 0, x minus 4 equals 0. All right, and then switch the signs or solve it, so subtract 8, so you get x is negative 8. Add 4, you get x is 4, and those are your two answers. All right, same thing here. Now here, that's not equal to 0 already, so the first thing I do is subtract this 70 to each side, so I get x squared minus 3x minus 70 equals 0. Does that make sense? Then we factor, so what multiplies to give us 70, that can add to a negative 3. So what two numbers are 3 apart that multiply to give me 70, and that would be 7 and 10. Okay, now this sign here goes with the bigger number, so it's a positive 7, negative 10. So our factors would be x plus 7 and x minus 10 equals 0. Okay, set them both to find our answer. So x plus 7 equals 0, which would give us negative 7. And x minus 10 equals 0. Add that, you would get x equals 10. And there are our two answers. Okay, try the last one. Okay, make sure you set it equal to 0 first. Right, so what you should have did is you should have subtracted the 14 first, so get x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. Okay, then make sure that we factor, so what are 5 away that multiply to give me 14? And that would be a 2 and a 7. 2 times 7 is 14, and 7 minus 2 is 5. Right there, we have our sign there. That's the bigger sign, so that goes with the bigger number, so the negative 7. So we get x plus 2 and x minus 7 is our factors. Solve them each for 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 7 equals 0. This one I would get x equals negative 2. And this one I would get x equals 7. And there are our two answers. Okay. Hope this helped. And hope you're all doing fine out there. See you soon.